Hello, hello, hello. I think this is like my only or second video with my hair up. Yeah. I have been lacking on follow me around videos. But yeah, I came to London on the 5th of October. And now it is the 21st of October, and I'm leaving in about 5 or 6 days back to Ireland because that's where I live. But I'm from London, so I come here like twice or three times a year. This term, when I came over to London, it has been like crazy. The London Underground has been messing up so much, like it's not even funny. Um, if one station is closed or delayed, basically all of the underground in London is delayed, and everything is just so squashed. And sometimes people don't listen to the intercom, and when they get to their platform, they then realize that everything's delayed and everyone's just hot and stuffy and sweaty and tired, and god, it's just so loud, and the police had to come, and everything had to be like controlled, and oh my god. And then so much worse during rush hour because there's so many people, and sometimes you can't even get on the tube because there's so many people already on it. And some people are so stupid they won't even like walk down there where people are sitting. They just stand near the door, and it's like if you walk down, maybe a couple more people will get it. And yesterday I was on the underground, and I was going to go meet Haz. I got off at one station and went into another one, and when I went onto the train, the tube, I sat down beside a man. I just thought he was just a normal guy sitting down, and then he started to like touch my leg, and I thought, maybe he was just like because we were sitting so close, so I was like, ignore that. What I'm really good at doing is from the corner of my eye, I can see like everything going on. And then I got all paranoid, and then I knew he was staring at me. But people kind of stare at you anyways, so I was like, whatever. And then I got off of the tube, he got off. What we had to do, we had to get off and switch to another train, another tube. And that one was, there, and everyone was boarding it. And I was walking down midway, trying to get on a different one. Then I see the man walking, like, there was like people there, so he was walking behind those people following me, and I was like, oh my god. And that's when I realized that he was following me, and then I got on, and he got on, and he sat like across from me on the other side, and then I was just kind of like sitting there like scared. And just when the guy announced when the train was about to depart, I jumped off quickly because the doors beep and then they close. So while they were beeping, I jumped off really quickly, and then that guy walked up and followed me and jumped off too. And I was like, oh my god, this isn't happening, because there was like no people on the platform because everyone was on the train. And I was like, oh my god. And then what I did is I got up, I went up the stairs, I ran to the other side, just jumped on a random train. He jumped on the same one, and then I jumped back off, and then he jumped back off, and then I went back again, and then about 15 minutes of just running around trying to be occupied. Um, that train that left, the one that I was supposed to get, came again. So while it closed, I jumped on, and I was like, oh my god, I just can't do this. So I jumped off, went into a different, because you know the way they're like split, there's different carriages. So I jumped off that one and went into another one, and he followed me. And then this business guy who I sat beside, he was like, are you okay? And I was like, the guy sitting over there is like following me for the past 30 minutes, and he's like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah. And then he like talked to me because he knew like if he pretended to talk to know me, then the guy wasn't gonna like do anything. And then when I told the guy my name, he was like, Chloe, the guy over there is still looking at us for the past 15 minutes. And I was like, I know. So then after that, I had to get off to my station, but that guy who's sitting beside me had to go to a different station, and I was like, now I'm basically screwed again. And then I jumped off my station, and that creepy guy jumped off as well. And he looked like kind of tall, slightly colored, kind of wrinkly, dark glasses, and he looked like a creepy pedophile, if I'm honest. I began to kind of walk really, really fast, like speed walking, and then he ran after me, and then I was like really crapping it because this everything was dark, and there was like barely any people, and I was like texting my boyfriend. I was like freaking out. He was like, stay with a crowd of people, but like I knew that because it happened to me last time as well, and even though there's a crowd of people, they still follow you. So I was running really, really fast, and then he ran as well, and then he caught up beside me, and he was like, "You're beautiful," and I just ignored him because I had like my earphones in. I didn't have any music on because I'm scared, and when I'm alone or in dark places, I don't leave my music on because I hear stuff around me. So I just had my earphones in, and I heard what he was saying, but I just kept on walking. I went up to this random lady, and I was like, "Can you please pretend to know me?" And she was like, "Sweetheart, are you okay?" And I was like, "That guy behind us is following me," and she was like, "He looks a bit creepy." She goes, "When we're at the top, I can find the London police for you." And I was like, "No, it's fine." And then I was walking with her, and the guy was still following us. And this is like an hour and a half later. And so this is all in the city. Like, I live 5 minutes away from my station. And there's like four people in front of me swiping their cards, going through the gates, and I swiped mine really quickly, and then they shut, obviously. And then thankfully, these two other guys got in front of him, and I didn't know who they were, but they got in front of him, and they were waiting to go through. So while I knew that he was being left a couple of minutes, I ran up the stairs really fast, ran into a random shop, and stayed there for like 10 minutes, pretending to browse through stuff that was completely irrelevant. I walked out, and I was still paranoid. I was just like looking around like paranoid as hell. I didn't know where he went, and I ran home. I was just so scared, and I hate situations like that because it happened last time as well in the underground I was in. If you guys watched my previous videos, I came to London again for my birthday to see my family and stuff and shop and blah 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 blah, and it happened again Bond Street, and the guy was pretending not to know where he was going. I was looking at the tube map, and so was he, and he was pretending he didn't know where he was going. So I told him what line to get, and then he was like, "Thank you." Then he tried to cook up a conversation, and I was like, "I'm in a hurry." He goes, "Where do you live?" And I was like, "In the city." And he goes, "Where? Tell me on the map." And then I just pointed to this random place, and he was like, "Oh, I'm going there. I'll go with you." And I was like, "But you just asked a second ago where this place was." And then he was like, "No, I live here actually." And I was like, he goes like, "Do you want to come to my house and party?" And I was like, "No, I'm fine. I have places to go." He was still looking at the tube map, so I ran, swiped my card. I was on the elevator. Just before I was on the elevator about to get off, he ran down the elevator too and stood beside me, took out his dictionary. He was like, "Do you want to come back to my house? Please come back to my house. I'd love to make a friend." And I'm not fucking like 12 years old. I'm not stupid. I didn't obviously say that, but in my head. While we are getting off at the bottom, because everyone's getting off, it's so packed, I just ran, jumped on the right tube I was supposed to get on anyways, and that was the last I seen him. But I think that was the first time that ever happened to me, and I was terrified. I was almost in tears, and oh my god, I just hate it so much. I don't understand why there's so many creepy people in the world, but yeah. And the reason why I have stopped making vlogging around videos after the first week was because I do the same thing every day. It's either I go for a run in the park, go to Starbucks, go get something to eat where my grandmother works, go shopping for a bit, come back home, go back to Starbucks, walk around a bit, go back to Starbucks, and then come home. So it's just kind of like the same stuff, and it's just kind of boring. I think it's better if I just make random vlogs like this about my day. Yeah. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And stay safe on the underground, especially when you look more young like me, because then you're more vulnerable for those creepy people. I was telling my friend about this, and he was like, "You should have turned around and said, 'I know you're following me.'" But then, psychologically, like even in common sense wise, if you say something like that, they could completely react differently. It either could be they're embarrassed and humiliated and they'll go away, or they get angry and they'll probably attack you or do something, bad. It's best just to be quiet, follow a lot of people, and if you're really scared like I was, like properly scared, and a guy has been following you around for over an hour, when you're in a situation like this, I wouldn't personally say anything because, like I said, it could go either way, and you don't want that to happen, and you really, really don't want to take a chance. So what you should do is you should walk with a lot of people, and if you're extremely scared like I am, and you know the guy has been following you around for over an hour, and even in the most busiest places, I would just go up to some random person. That's what I did. I went up to a random person. I was like, "Can you pretend to know me because there's some creepy person like following me?" And of course they're not going to say no. Like if it looks like a genuine decent person, they're not going to say no. Ask that person to walk to a member of the underground staff and just tell them someone's following you. Make sure you get where you want to safe. Point is, don't take out something extremely expensive and walk with a lot of people. Yeah. Just be aware of the people around you, be aware of what you're doing, and stay with a lot of people. don't take any expensive things out, and just be safe on the underground, because there are a lot of creepy perverted men. Creepy.